I'm trying to remember if I've got any other janky decks that we were going to play after this. Like, I had some vehicle brews originally that I don't think actually amounted to anything particularly playable. Where does that leave us? Maybe we just go back to exploring Hinata in Historic? I always feel like there's supposed to be more jank that I had sketched up to build, but then when the moment comes, I can't actually remember what that jank was supposed to be. Okay, I think we can keep this. I mean, it's pretty awful, but what's the worst that could happen? Oh, am I supposed to be playing Forsaken Crossroads? That, like, might actually be a good idea. I guess it's a tap land, though. But on the other hand, I'm playing a 5-color deck. And I no longer need double green. I'm probably supposed to cut some green dual lands to play those, aren't I? I think we just grab Environmental Sciences, tutor up a forest, and play Commune with Spirits next turn, most likely. Try to hit a land drop with this. I'd like to get to the point perfect, right? Yes. I think I want to play Professor of Symbology, discarding Kami War to set up for a turn 5 Spirit Sisters call. Oh, but I needed a white source to play the Spirited Companion to have something to sack to get the Kami War. I guess I can sack the Spirit Sisters call to itself. That's fine. Or I could just draw a white source, that works too. Alright, Professor of Symbology. Opponent's doing some kind of Dragon's Guard Elite combo. My hand, I would like to discard Kami War, thank you. Then we play Spirited Companion because we drew our 5th untapped land for Spirit Sisters Call, so I don't have to play Rimewood Falls this turn. More Kami Wars, good enough. We're actually only a red source away from hardcasting it anyway. Alright, chat, help me remember to go fix the mana base to include those crossroads after this game. This thing doesn't have trample, right? I can just chump block it with Professor of Symbology? Yeah. Reminder to play more 5-color payoffs. What other 5-color payoffs are there? We have one World Tree already. I don't want to play more than that. I think for the most part, Crossroads is better. Because it's pretty easy for us to fix one color with either like random off-color dual lands or Binding of the Old Gods or Lotus Cobras. 2 is the part that gets a tiny bit of a stretch. Not really willing to run into these Dragon's Guard Elites, I don't think. I have to imagine the opponent can pump them at instant speed. Alright, I would love sack Spirited Companion to get back Kami Ward, attempt to exile Dragon's Guard Elite, presumably the opponent fizzles this with a protection spell. I'm surprised! Okay. That's where things get, like, technically difficult. Hey Chris, been watching your YouTube videos, like them a lot. Any more Historic anytime soon? Probably? Let's see, do I want to block here? I might do Historic tomorrow, but I'm trying to think of... I've been doing a lot of Hinata, and I want to do more Hinata, but I'm also trying to figure out different things to stream, but, like, it does take a little bit of inspiration to come up with an actual functional jank list as opposed to just a bad jank list. Can I just... What happens if I double block with Professor of Symbology? Now let's just single block with Professor of Symbology. That way I can actually sack a Professor of Symbology to get back a Professor of Symbology. I mean, maybe forcing them to actually play something to protect the Dragon's Guard Elite would be correct, but... Okay, I gotta say, bouncing the Dragon's Guard Elite and letting them replay it with Trample sounds kind of awful. But also letting them have it in play sounds bad too. Commune with Spirits, see what we got. Restoration of Eiganjo, okay, that's reasonable-ish. It's a discard outlet for a Kami War, which is relevant with Spirit Sisters in play. What are we getting back here? Just Professor of Symbology, pretty much. Yeah, mostly. Then what do we snag? I assume Reduce to Memory. Getting rid of the Trampling Dragon's Guard Elite and forcing them to have an extra protection spell seems like it'd probably be a good idea. Hinata plus Blue March makes me officially despise Hinata exponentially more than 2-mana Opus. The Blue March is such a feels-good thing to get to do with Hinata. I'm not convinced like that it's actually super good, but it is super cool. Do I want to trade with this pup? Does that matter to me at all? I don't think so. And I don't think the opponent can kill me here, hopefully. Guy's Onslaught, +1/+1 counter and double strike. Yeah, alright. Well, do I die? No, it does not look like I die. Well, maybe I die. No, okay, I die. I assume. Is this whenever you copy? Oh yeah, it is copy. Oh, cute. I didn't think they could do that with 4 mana. I was anticipating that those foretell spells were like creature spells. But yeah, absolutely should have double blocked then. Or, well, chump block Dragon's Guard Elite. And we would have been... actually, would we still be dead? What if they put all the counters on Tenacious Pup? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6 double striking. No, we would have been fine. Yeah, okay. Lesson learned about how that deck works. We will remember to hit the record button, even though it's a couple of turns into the game. Teehee. Okay, more Divine Purges, which admittedly do synergize with Professor of Symbology rather nicely. Okay, Overgrown Farmland, Restoration of Eiganjo. I suppose the nice part about Restoration of Eiganjo with Forsaken Crossroads is that Forsaken Crossroads is a cool land to ramp into getting back tapped. No opportunity cost, really. Opponent on the Grixis Life. Alright, respect. Okay, we're going to discard Forsaken Crossroads, get back Forsaken Crossroads, put it on red since we drew the Rimewood Falls. Don't need a Lotus Cobra, we've already got our 5-color mana base perfectly assembled. Somehow, we're just equipped to play our Kami War on turn 5 if we happen to top deck it. Which, you know, I'd like. But that means the Forsaken Crossroads is already immediately being useful. Galazeth, Prismari, Grixis Artifacts, opponent. That seems awfully rude. Okay, let's play Spirited Companion, see what happens. Alright. Play our land drop. Oh, I should have held that. We might draw another Spirited Companion here. And I don't actually want to play Teachings of the Archaic yet. Okay, not punished. Oh. I forgot Divine Purge actually exiles their artifacts. That's really good here, isn't it? It also pops our puppers, and then we get to replay them to draw more cards later. That's value. Galazeth gets lifelink. Sure, do you want to attack with Galazeth? Probably not, because then I get to punch with Architect of Restoration, make a 1/1. Maybe you don't care about that. It would seem we don't care about that. Alright. Well, what if I cast Divine Purge then, opponent? Unfortunately, I can't play the second Divine Purge. Lamentable. I think we can play Teachings here, though, which is probably what I'm supposed to do. Spirit Sister's Call. Alright, nothing to do with that yet. We should be capable of outvaluing the opponent here, but there's definitely a risk that they could just find something that outscales us. But we don't seem to be in danger of running out of cards to cast anytime soon. This is the part where I'm supposed to like fill in with commentary about what my opponent's going to do, but the unfortunate part about playing against Grixis players is that there are no limitations on what they're going to do, because they don't know what they're going to do. So attempting to predict it is not super effective. Case in point, my Grixis opponent just discarded a Portable Hole, which, you may know, is a white card. Alright, I'd like to attempt a Divine Purge again, opponent. You okay with that? Okay. More white sources, Professor of Symbology. Yep, I'm gonna snag a Teachings of the Archaic. And I'm gonna play that eventually, but probably Restoration of Eiganjo for now, actually. Wait, hold on, what do I got on the graveyard? Okay, step 1. I don't actually care if my opponent gains life. So let's do this and put a bunch of damage on the Tezzeret. Then we play Teachings of the Archaic. Hey, Commune War. Alright. Well, we got 2 counterspells out of the opponent's hand. That's something, at least. How do you teleport a 5-color player from a Grixis player who splashed white and green? It's the soul. My opponent's soul is on display here. And you don't play Galazeth, Prismari, and Poet's Quill without being a Grixis player. More Commune Wars. Okay, that's something. I mean, I could jam Commune War here. I'm probably supposed to. 3, 6, yeah, and then I can play Restoration of Eiganjo. Oh no, but I've already got both planes. How disappointing. Okay, well, I'm going to operate under the assumption that maybe I can bait my opponent into playing a board wipe to keep their Tezzeret alive. No? Yes? Yeah, well, sort of. They foretold Sod Cummings, didn't they? Because they're playing a deck with 12 counterspells, because that's the Grixis life. I can feel it in my bones. 1 black source. I don't technically need more than 1 black source, but I guess I don't need more green sources than... Oh, maybe I actually do need more green sources if I want to cast Commune with Spirits? No, that wasn't true. Okay. Hey, Commune War resolves. Cool. Let's get rid of Galazeth. Alright, that makes my life easier. Well, let's play Restoration of Eiganjo then. Regrettably, only 2 planes in the deck. How do you tell before they Grixis you? I got no clue. Alright, opponent, how are you handling the Commune War? What's your secret? Is it to play a green disenchant on the Commune War? Off of your treasure? Is that what we're going to be about? Because I'd love to Spirit's Call back Commune War. That'd be fun. Yep, that is what we're going to do. Alright, we have successfully blown up an enchantment. We'll go just snag socks after the game. He just begged to be let out not too long ago, I don't think. Alright, opponent. What else he got? A bunch of 2/2s. Whoa, scary. Or actually, those are 4/4s, aren't they? Okay. What am I getting back here? I mean, I guess turning Highland Forest into a Professor of Symbology is an upgrade. But I cast all my draw spells already. Yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah, I guess let's play Reduced to Memory at some point. Can we use Spirits first? Okay, we can play a Spirited Companion here. It's technically card draw. I'm supposed to do that first? I don't know whether I'm supposed to play Kami War or Spirit Sister's Call, to be entirely honest. Playing Kami War this turn gives me more mana to work with next turn? Technically? But playing Spirit Sister's Call makes... Yeah, I should play around counter spells. And I think developing Spirit Sister's Call here is better against counter spells. We're actually going to hold on to this forest, because there's a fairly decent chance that if we draw another Professor of Symbology, we actually want to loot with it. We sack Spirited Companion, exile an Angel token. Next turn we get to bounce the Angel token and make our opponent discard a card. Alright, and I'm going to go snag a kitty cat, actually, while the opponent's thinking. Unfortunately, cat was eating. I'm not going to steal him away from that. Alright, we will bounce an Angel Warrior. Oh, the timing on this Kami War is actually better than if I had played Spirit Sister's Call this turn. Because now I actually get to remove the blocker. Whereas it didn't matter last turn whether I got the Kami War in first main phase or end of turn. But so it seems like we made the correct decision in that sense. Already got 2 planes, so no point in getting back the Restoration, so let's just draw more cards. Will Alchemy be flooded by runes? Yes. Fearless Fledgling into turn 3 Kadama into turn 4 Felidar is some of the most fun Magic I played this set. Yeah, I was really surprised at how, like, actually good that deck was, if I'm being honest. And the opponent discards a card. Okay. Attack with everybody. Play more Spirit Sisters Calls. I could Divine Purge to get to replay some of my creatures on a later turn, but that feels like that's probably wasting resources. We're still going to hold on to the land. Right, what do we got to get back here? So we get to turn, I guess, a Spirited Companion into an Architect of Restoration. No planes in the deck, unfortunate. And we get to upgrade a basic forest into a Highland Forest. Is Fire's Invention unplayable at 5 mana? No, but yes. But, like, actually the reason Fire's Invention was playable was Teferi at 3 mana. And I think the Teferi nerf makes Fires unplayable regardless of whether Fires was 4 or 5 mana. Okay, so we get to play Darkbore Pathway on green, Commune with Spirits, and then go into Lotus Cobra on 2. Do I even want Spirited Companion here? I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to take Forsaken Crossroads. Because I think I'm trying to curve into, like, what's this going to be? Turn 4 Kami War? And just hope my opponent has no interaction. Unfortunately, I don't think this deck is very good against Turbo Mill. Well, I guess if I hit, ugh. Okay, double Rune Crab is horrifying. If we draw the Binding of the Old Gods here, that's not too bad. Divine Purge. Oh. Can I afford to do that? I mean, getting rid of Rune Crabs seems pretty important, though. I think I've got a Divine Purge here, unfortunately. Which is not terribly productive, but is going to buy me a lot of extra turns to actually get this Commune War out. The trouble is that we just aren't a deck that's capable of ending it fast, which means I think they were just guaranteed to lose. Oh, they could be missing land drops. That definitely helps. A lot. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance, because if my opponent goes a land drop, play Ruin Crab, and I Commune War it, that's certainly strong, right? I guess, I mean, we can flip Commune War, and that does sort of kill the opponent. No, my Lotus Cobra. Oh. The downside of Divine Purge permanently making this cost more money rears its head, huh? Painful. Okay, well, we're not going to bother with that then. Just going to play Lotus Cobra into Restoration of Eiganjo so we can Commune War next turn again. Hello, I'm back to Arena after a 2-year break. Could you explain to me the difference between Standard and Alchemy? Yes. Okay, so in essence, Standard is the same as it's always been and is a paper analog format. But Alchemy is a arena-only version of Standard that has some extra cards added in that use mostly mechanics that aren't possible in paper. So there's a couple of cards that are legal in Alchemy that aren't legal in Standard. And additionally, in Alchemy, instead of banning cards, they have modified them. Because you can actually modify cards and what they say on the text when it is a... Oh, I can get the Lotus Cobra back like this. That's cool. When it's a digital-only format. So, say, for example, Divide by Zero and Alrund's Epiphany are banned in Standard, but in Alchemy, they just are nerfed. Alright. I'm pretty sure I just need to play Commune War for unfortunately no value here. Because I do want this to start flipping. But those two main points are the big differences between Standard and Alchemy. Yes, Alchemy has all the same basic sets as Standard. It just also has a couple of supplemental sets that are supposed to be coming out with shortly after each Standard set. When exactly, who actually knows? We'll submit 0 and just have our opponent discard a card. Yes, it's essentially just Standard with a couple of extra cards, for the most part. I'm just supposed to keep playing Commune Wars, to be entirely honest. Just in the interest of clocking the opponent as fast as possible. And also, I assume making them discard cards is good. What decks would you recommend right now for Alchemy and Standard? How competitively do you want to play? Do you want to try to get to Mythic and have a deck that's metagamed against the decks that are going to be keeping you from that? Or do you want to just play something fun? And if you just want to play something fun, what kind of decks do you think are interesting? Actually, tell me what kind of decks and playstyles you like either way. Because I can make modified recommendations either way. Okay, so we are going to return that Ruin Crab to their hand. What do you know? Having played the Kami War last turn actually provided a benefit. Crab immediately gets discarded. Okay. We got 32 cards in the deck. And now we get to figure out if I can actually kill the opponent before they combo off and indeed. Am I playing against a budget deck? Not necessarily. The deck we're playing against is missing land drops, so it looks kind of weird. But the way that it functions is it's essentially a mill deck that's kind of not super great in best of 3, but alright, but extremely good in best of 1. So it plays 4 Ruin Crabs, but mostly it plays copy spells like Dual Strike and Galvanic Iteration with Tasha's Hideous Laughter to attempt to just turbo your opponent out. And since so many best of 1 decks are aggressive and have low curves, that tends to be really effective in best of 1. But luckily, I play expensive cards in this 5-color pile. So slightly less effective against us than some other versions, or some other best of 1 decks that are popular. This looks bad, but all we have to do is top deck some lands and then maybe it gets better. Hey, we top deck some lands, so now it's better. When are you going to play Elden Ring? I have complete faith in your Souls-like ability. I actually kind of was wondering if I might attempt that after the set championship. I've never played a Souls game before, so I'm sure it would be an extremely interesting first experience. But I have to actually, like, you have to have a controller for that, right? So I would have to go out and buy one. I want the best decks possible. Back in the day, I used to end up regularly on top 300 every season. In a couple of seasons, I peaked at rank 2, so I'd like to go back to there. In the past, I really loved playing Jund's Sacrifice when the cat came out. Okay, well, there's some strong Sacrifice decks in Historic. If you enjoyed the gameplay style of Jund cat decks, I think you might want to look into some of the Alchemy versions of Oni Cult Anvil. Some that play Sanguine Brushstroke, some that don't. But that list is very similar playstyle-wise, and I think also is just pretty good. I know someone recently, like, got rank 2 with it pretty close to the end of last season, which is usually a good sign. Let's just get cheap chump blockers, right? Or do we want Reduced to Memory? Reduced to Memory popping Jukai Naturalist would be kind of a good idea. As who knows when they're going to have Trample. Yeah, probably Reduced to Memory. I mean, in all likelihood, I'm going to kill the Jukai Naturalist with a Kami War next turn. Jukai Naturalist gets pumped. I love the fact that my opponent is, like, not actually playing big card draw right now. I also love the fact that my opponent just decided to say draw go and did nothing. So, like, that's cool. Alright, 2 Lotus Cobras means turn 4 Kami War. Make some blue mana. Make some red mana. Play a Kami War. Opponent! I'm trying to make content here. Come on now. I'm assuming I'm supposed to keep turn 2 Spirited Companion, even if the rest of the hand is a little awkward. It's sad the World Tree doesn't give us Commune with Spirits on turn 1, but yeah, what you gonna do? Oh, dragons. Yeah, that's gonna make Divine Purge pretty useless. Okay, well, we tried. Better luck next time, team. I can Lotus Cobra into Commune with Spirits. I can Divine Purge one Fearsome Whelp away. Is that even, like, moderately helpful? Probably not. I can... Okay, hold on. Suddenly, Divine Purging 2 Fearsome Whelps and an Orb of Dragonkind actually does sound sort of good, yes. Think we're going to do that. It's about as good as Divine Purge is ever going to be in this matchup, I feel like. Four mana tapped Fearsome Whelp. There you go. Okay, so we get the Lotus Cobra here. I can't Commune with Spirits. Or rather, I can't Binding of the Old Gods. Would I rather Commune with Spirits or Professor of Symbology in this case? I'd probably rather Commune with Spirits. Bummer. Okay, I think we take the Binding here. Which unfortunately tells them they should kill the Lotus Cobra because I don't have black mana. But I think it was worth going for Commune with Spirits there because the Rimewood Falls means that I could... No, I couldn't cast a Kami War next turn because I don't actually have black mana. Well, I guess if I top decked a red or a black untapped source, I would be able to cast Kami War next turn. Why couldn't Enigmatic Incarnation and Kami War have been in the same standard? That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Oh, that actually works really well with Spirit Sister's Call. It's probably not good enough to be historic playable, but that's, like, pretty close, actually. No! My opponent had removal, the worst possible thing. But we drew a black source, so everything's fine. Except I don't want to actually hit this Atsushi, but what else am I going to do? I don't like this, but not taking damage is cool. Please don't get good cards. Goldspan Dragon and a land. That's one good card, I guess. I'll live. But it's Pioneer playable since Niv Delight is a reasonable thing to be doing. Yeah, maybe. That sounds like a nightmare to build, though. I'm glad I don't have to do it. I already, like, had my brain explode trying to figure out the mana base for regular historic Niv Mizzet. No, drawing that Highland Forest is kind of weird. I didn't want to have to play that tap land this turn. Oh, I've got a World Tree, so I don't have to. Cool. Alright, let's get rid of Goldspan Dragon, and... I guess play Professor of Symbology, and I'm assuming I'm supposed to loot away Highland Forest here? I could grab Teachings of the Archaic, I suppose. I could also grab Mascot Exhibition because it would remove a flyer. I'm going to be honest, I think I'm probably supposed to loot away this Highland Forest more than grab any of these cards. But I refuse to not get value, so here we are. I love that having hit Orb of Dragonkind with Divine Purge means that it enters the battlefield tapped and isn't actually an immediate cantrip. But unfortunately, they've had Inferno with the Star Mounts in hand the entire time, so I lose. That's dragons! Yeah, that's part of the problem with not playing any early interaction. That'll happen. Alright, this hand seems bad, so we'll keep and see what happens. Them's the rules. Okay, well, we get to play the Overgrown Farmland because we drew an untapped land. That's nice. Our mana fixing here is at least decent. I think I start with Spirited Companion to try to find more white sources. No! I've been disrupted. My 2 drops. Okay. If you're going to counter something with another Jor Disruption opponent, I'd rather it be Professor of Symbology. Okay, hand is fine. And then we'll play a tap land. Unfortunately, our opponent does get to Teachings of the Archaic here, because they're on the play. Fun interview on ArenaCraft Pod. Nice to know you're constantly suffering during games and enjoy it. Oh, very much so. It's the best. I mean, I wouldn't lose unless I liked it, right? Otherwise, I would just win all the time, but that's boring. Alright, let's snag Teachings of the Archaics so that we can draw more cards eventually. Spirit Sister's Call. Okay. We can start looping Spirited Companions at some point. I kind of get the feeling that our Divine Purge is not going to be the most useful that it's ever been here. Alright, would you like to counter my Restoration of Eiganjo somehow, opponent? Yes. Yes, you would. Okay. So we will play Professor of Symbology. At this point, I think I'm inclined to get Environmental Sciences. It's a little awkward that we're lacking our blue source, but eventually our opponent's going to be forced to play something, and then we're going to get to Binding of the Old Gods hit, and that'll get a blue source. Definitely that'll happen at some point. Opponent foretells presumably a counterspell, plays Teachings of the Archaic, tapped out, means that I have the freedom to play Spirit Sister's Call. Oh hey, a blue source. Sweet. In the meantime, we get to keep poking our opponent with creatures. Play Spirit Sister's Call, play Forsaken Crossroads on blue. I don't believe you have Force Spike here, opponent. I don't think that's even legal. Scry. Ooh, Commune War is beautiful. Because even if the opponent counters it, we get to get it back. Yeah, let's switch a Spirited Companion for a Spirited Companion here so we can draw a card. That should be fun. I guess Spell Pierce is actually in the format, isn't it, now? There's eventually going to be a compilation of me getting horrifyingly destroyed by Spell Pierces, isn't there? Alright, gotta confess, kind of don't love that they cleared out my enchantment creatures that I would get to use to bring back Commune War. Also don't love that they don't have anything for me to exile with Commune War, which makes it a tiny bit weaker. Alright, what if I Restoration of Eiganjo, opponent? What you gonna do about that? Let it resolve? Very polite. Okay, let's see then. Could just jam Binding of the Old Gods here, except my auto-tapper is sort of preventing that. I mean, I could play Forsaken Crossroads on black, I guess, and just untap it to play Binding. I don't expect they're ever going to give me any real targets for Binding, so maybe that doesn't matter. But, eh. I assume I'm just supposed to deck thin. Okay. Spirit Sister's Call, divided by 0. Play lands. Play Crossroads on blue. Play Crossroads tapped. Professor of Symbology is a threat. Let's go. Opponent's got a lot of mana, but we certainly have more cards than them, which is usually a good thing. So let's go ahead and discard this Divine Purge that's totally useless. Get back a Professor of Symbology. Professor of Symbology finds threats. Play Spirit Sister's Call, see what the opponent has to say about that. I assume it will probably get countered. Discover the formula. Alright, that's card draw. Disdainful Stroke main deck. La-di-da. Alright, more Professor of Symbologies then. Well, I suppose we can go grab Mascot Exhibition at this point. Sooner or later we're going to run out of cards to fetch from our sideboard, which will be disappointing, but at least we don't have to worry about those yet. Key to the Archive! Finally, something to exile. Yay. We are unfortunately 1 mana short of playing Binding and Kami War on the same turn. But, man, what you gonna do? Alright, Restoration flips. We get to attack, do some damage to the opponent, continue lowering their life total, play land drops. I think I'm playing Binding here. That way the opponent has to have a hard counter spell. They don't. Okay, so we get to blow up Key to the Archive. And then I could probably safely Pest Summoning here. I'm kind of overplaying into a board wipe, but I think that should be fine, because I still have Mascot Exhibition and Teachings of the Archaic to play anyway. Let's go for the formula. Alright, that's not a board wipe. Okay, yeah. Well, sometimes you overextend into a board wipe and they don't have a board wipe, and then you win. I actually really love playing against control decks with grindy decks like this, where I just sit here and say, alright, here's a 2-power creature, here's a 2-power creature, here's a 2-power creature, all of my creatures draw cards. Do you have enough answers? No? Okay. Okay, I think this is the worst hand so far that I'm going to keep. We're just going to fire off Commune with Spirits for the first couple of turns, and then spend some time playing Scrylands, because why not? My entire mana base is all tapped now. I'm sure that's not going to be a problem. Should be totally fine. Hello, Kami War. Oh. We find ourselves in a very silly position of mono-tap land life. Oh no. But we have the World Tree at least, so we can dirtle hard enough. Oh, I think we're actually playing the Mirror. Maybe not, but like, no, because Arctic Tree Land isn't in my deck. Because there's no point in fetching a white source on like turn 5 with your Binding of the Old Gods. Okay, I think I can develop World Tree this turn, because now I've got the untapped white source for Divine Purge anyway. Hey, excited for the PT? Good luck. Thanks. I'm excited for it too. Should be a lot of fun. Catilda. Oh, green-white enchantments. Okay. Arctic Tree Line, but like, no, because they're not playing Snow Basics. Arctic Tree Line means they have to be playing Abzan. The only reason to do this that I could think of is that they're playing Binding of the Old Gods in their deck. Oh, alright. Well, let's buy a little bit of time, Divine Purge. Don't really want my opponent to have a board, and now that I've got another Divine Purge, there's not a huge amount of reason to wait. Hallowed Haunting. Oh no! Anyway. We'll go with red here. Don't need more lands. I feel like Hallowed Haunting is not a very scary card when I'm sitting here with Divine Purge in hand, if I'm being entirely honest. Oh, Catilda's not an enchantment, huh? Who knew? I'm a little nervous that if I don't Divine Purge this turn, like I'll have to next turn, but if I Divine Purge this turn, I probably will still have to next turn, so I think I'm just supposed to take this damage. And then I can't actually Kami War next turn, but I'm going to Divine Purge. And this is a rough spot. I kind of needed a discard outlet for this Kami War. Oh, which means if I draw a 2-mana Learn creature, that's ideal. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Okay. Spirit of Companion's not the scariest thing that could happen here. Oh, Michiko is though, so I guess I die. Right? 12, 16, 17, no? Okay, not dead. That's good, that's good. Unfortunately, Michiko sticks around and is a problem though. Restoration of Eiganjo. Alright, that's kind of okay-ish. Because we get to play 2 Commie Wars next turn now? That might be good enough. Yeah, I could see that being good enough. I'm not going to get to return anything with Restoration of Eiganjo, though, when I use it as a discard outlet. That's disappointing. Odd Haunting. Alright, more tokens. Yes. Please don't have another enchantment. I know that's really unlikely, but please. I don't actually think I can beat that. Spirited Companion! Is that good enough? Oh, that might be good enough. That might actually just be good enough. No, it's not. Why did I think it was enough? Oh, wait. No, Michiko doesn't come back. Or Michiko can't attack this turn. Okay, so we exile a spirit. We sack... Which of these is better to sack? This is actually legitimately close. Recycling Commie War gives us another Commie War next turn. Didn't get back. I'm actually not sure whether having Commie War in the graveyard is correct with Spirit Sister's Call in play. Especially when Restoration of Eiganjo is going to flip into a blocker anyway. I guess I could just sack Spirit Sister's Call, technically. Yeah, I know. But this is actually a really tough choice. Alright, probably supposed to be Spirit Sister's Call. Not completely convinced this is correct, but... Yeah, I mean, if you got a removal spell in hand, I do die. This is true. But that was true no matter what I chose. What else you got, opponent? Oh, a flyer. Alright, well, that actually might kill me on its own. What else we got? Pump the spirit. Alright, now's the part where we draw Divine Purge. Hopefully. Wedding announcement. Okay, that's also not lethal. So we just need to draw the other Divine Purge somehow. Oop. Professor of Symbology, you say? Alright, well, let's clear out the opponent's hand. What does Professor of Symbology do? Is that actually good enough? 2 blockers plus 4... No. Do they have Xaxes? I can't play this untapped, can I? Please? Untapped? 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 No. I'm 1 mana short of staying alive! Oh, no, I'm not, because they have the land. Alright, never mind. Also, if they play another enchantment, all their creatures gain flying, because Odd Haunting does things. That's also true. So no, I was like super dead no matter what. Okay, let's see if the opponent messes up. We run 0 gods, so activating World Tree does not, unfortunately, accomplish very much. I think we were also like 2 mana short of that, because it takes 11 mana. Oop. We were super dead. Oh, Divine Purge also wasn't good enough because they had that creature land still. So I didn't really have an out after they played that. This hand looks bad. So I'm going to actually ship it, which is not normally what I do when that's the case. Here we get to ship a Spirit Sister's Call. I think I'm just going to turn to Commune with Spirits and get our tap land developed while we can. Turn to Commune with Spirits. Alright. Play a janky land drop. I probably should have grabbed the black source. Kind of forgot we didn't have that already. I'm sure there's no way we would draw a card that punishes us for not having a black source on turn 4. Couldn't happen. Completely impossible. The Rimewood Falls especially didn't matter when I already had a World Tree anyway. Unexpected Conversion is a rough card for me to deal with. The good news is the opponent's going to discard to hand size, so it's not like the world's best divination. But they do exile Divine Purges, which they are correct in identifying is not a very good card against me. Lotus Cobra. Okay. Well, that's actually not that bad. It does give us Commune War next turn, which, you know, the opponent's probably going to counter, but no well. There was actual In Search of Greatness in the deck. Okay, so there was. Unfortunately, we played it for like an hour and a half, and it was really, really bad, so we cut it. We put Board Wipes in instead. Ooh, Key to the Archives is an exceptionally fun card to hit with Commune War. Alright. Thank you, opponent, for tapping out. You love to see it. I can't cast Commune War, can I? Because I still don't have black mana. Nice. Alright, well. We do still get to Binding of the Old Gods in, so... like, it's not the end of the world, but it is disappointing. Okay, this time we get to Commune War, the Key to the Archives. This time it's a success. They discarded March of Otherworldly Light. Okay. And this time they discarded Doomblade. Delightful. Okay. So... now the World Tree is active, so we get to play the Commune War for 6 mana. It's so fun when our enchantments are actually land destruction spells. Alright, opponent, what are we doing now? Blowing up my Lotus Cobra and giving me land. Well, cards, I guess. Not necessarily lands. Works for me. I would like to return this Binding of the Old Gods to my hand, since it's already used up all of its modes anyway. Opponent, draw some cards, discard some cards. I'm sure they're happy with that. So I can play Restoration of Eiganjo. Huh, so they exiled 3 Divine Purges, but not all 4. That's interesting. I never really considered that that was an option before. But I guess it makes sense. Alright, so we can play Restoration of Eiganjo. We go and get the Plains. We get to play the Plains, draw a card with Spirit Companion, and then draw a card with Clues. And we're just really all about that life where we bury the control opponent in card advantage. Oh, look at them. They're playing their 6 mana draw 3, like thinking that that's good enough. Adorable. We got our land drop, sure. Commune War flips, sure. I'd like to get rid of Divine Purge, probably. We get back Lotus Cobra, why not? Okagachi, sticking around. Black Source, play Spirit Sister's Call. What do we have to loop at the moment? Nothing, so we'll do that later. Could play Binding of the Old Gods to filter the deck. There's 1 forest left in the deck that we can get. That's probably not worth just holding on to a removal spell for. Because I'm assuming there's probably a likelihood the opponent's playing some sort of Planeswalker. More Discover the Formula? Sure. Opponent kills Okagachi. We love to see it, because that means they're not exiling Okagachi. We get a draw card. Restoration, clearing out small cards, synergizes with OK's attack trigger. I would assume we have been playing for 3 hours and we have literally never attacked with an Okagachi, so I'm not sure what actually synergizes with it and what doesn't, if I'm being entirely honest. But, like, hypothetically, yes, that is a synergy. What do we have in the graveyard? One Kami War? Okay. I'm assuming I want to sack a Spirited Companion to that, but maybe I just want the Spirited Companion in play? And I got a lot of bindings. Let's just play the binding now that we have 3 and sack the Spirited Companion. We're gonna do enough damage regardless. I don't need to do more damage, I don't think. Well, admittedly, the opponent's drawing a lot of cards. We have not yet successfully found any of our learn creatures, so we cannot punish them for drawing too many cards by drawing more cards in response. Third, discover the formula. Yeah, that is good. That is good. How many removal spells do you have, though, opponent? Because you already discarded 4 board wipes. Which, it turns out, might have actually been a mistake, just because I wasn't doing anything. You do actually have to do something, opponent, though. Alright, what did we get rid of this time? Test of... 4 test of... Opponent, what? Yeah, the other Divine Purge is in here, as it happens. I wonder how many enchantments they've watched me cast while they're sitting there with 4 Test of Talents. But Naya Enchantments is like the most popular deck in Alchemy. That's... Oh, goodness. We have one more planes we can get with this restoration, at least. Are we going to attempt to exile Kami War or something? Because if you let it go to my turn, alright, I'm just going to get more value. Alright, we're going to bounce the binding to the hand again. So we just get to have the removal spell in hand and got our ramp spell. Unfortunately, this mana is in our upkeep, which makes it kind of useless. Love to see it. Alright, go and fetch the last basic from our deck. Sure. What do we got in the graveyard? 1 pupper? Okay. I imagine we combat and swing with Lotus Cobra. Hopefully the opponent doesn't realize that Field of Ruin is now a strip mine. I'm assuming I'm supposed to sack Lotus Cobra to get back a doggo. That feels correct in my heart. Oh no, I could have sacked a binding to get back a doggo. Oh no, I could have turned it into something useful. Disappointing. Misplays. But still, I'm here to draw cards, not compound my misplays. Fourth, discover the formula. Sure. How does the opponent win? Hullbreaker Horror? I suppose? Probably? Like, their deck is very full of cards that don't win. That doesn't leave a lot of room for cards that do win. Yeah, Teferi gains some life. I mean, I guess they just hope Key to the Archive hits... like, approach? Is that the win con? Oh, yeah, that's true. It could be witness the future as the win con. Okay, what are we getting rid of here? probably Lotus Cobra returning Lotus Cobra. No, probably Spirit Sister's Call actually returning Lotus Cobra. And just putting more threats onto the board. Alright, let's start by playing Binding, because I want to know if I have to attack the Teferi or not. Okay, don't have to attack the Teferi.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
And we get to go to combat, swing at the opponent for 3, yay, play Restoration of Eiganjo. Decline, play Lotus Cobra because we've actually just probably got all the board wipes out of their hand at this point. I will sack Binding the Old Gods to get a Spirit Sister's Call back. Mostly so that I can just have Binding in the graveyard, which might be useful next turn. It's more useful than just having it sit around and get a trigger on our upkeep that doesn't matter because we're out of forests in our deck anyway. Alright, I feel like they have to play Hullbreaker Horror here. I mean, they can't, because they've only cast 4 Discover the Formulas, so they can't play a 2-mana Horror. It's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. I heard a kitty cat. The problem with a kitty cat who meows at the door is that, generally speaking... Oh, hey, cool. I can kill that. A kitty cat who meows at the door is not a kitty cat who, like, actually wants to be let in. They just are offended that the door is closed. I actually think all of my cards are better than anything in my graveyard right now, which is to say, if I discarded a card, I wouldn't be able to get anything back. That's worth considering. Okay, Finding the Old Gods. Do you concede now, opponent? No. Okay. Hullbreaker Horror dies? Concede? Fateful Absence Okakachi. Okay. Well, you did have to bounce one of my creatures, because I do just kill you, opponent. Alright.